Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for this webinar to discuss the Masters of Coaching Education Programs Coaching Symposium here at Ohio University. With us on the line this morning, we have the program coordinator, Dr. Harvey. Dr. Harvey, if you would, go ahead and introduce yourself to all of our prospective students here.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Stephen Harvey. I'm the program coordinator for the Masters in Coaching Education at Ohio University. I started with Ohio University last August, so August 2017. I actually attended the coaching symposium last summer as a kind of invited guest and observed what went on. And this year it's my responsibility to, take the seminar forward and look at what we're doing and put the program together. So that's kind of a little bit about myself and how I've got involved with the symposium.
Thank you, Dr. Harvey. I guess we can just go ahead and jump right into it. What is the symposium and what students expect to get from it?
Yeah, so it's the coaching, some people call it Global Coaching Seminar, but I think its official title is, as you said, it's COED 5901 Coaching Symposium. Obviously, a predecessor of mine and the other faculty that have been involved in the program before me put this program together, but I think the main aim of the seminar was really a couple of things really. So from a pastoral sense, it's to get students to come to campus, and my vision for that is also for them to share their expertise with each other and continue to build relationships with each other that they've built online. So there's that kind of pastoral element, and then obviously a related aspect to that is to further and build relationships with course faculty who will be attending the seminar. And then another part of the seminar is obviously to try and engage in some, from particularly my standpoint, discussion and debate around issues within coaching and coaching education, kind of hot topics, and bring in various experts in the field to give the students exposure to some of those, key issues that are ongoing, or a new kind of topic issues within coaching and coaching education. The other thing is obviously experts come in a variety of forms, so some of them are either international or nationally based faculty who work in other coaching ed programs or work for national governing bodies of sport. We also try and engage them with the Ohio-based coaches here in the, in athletics at Ohio University. So we've got a few of the coaches coming to speak. And as I say, there's an opportunity for them to gain further exposure and have conversation with each other and the other faculty that teach in the program.
Outstanding. Now, what you mentioned different types of, bringing in speakers and hot topics. Are these all addressed in a classroom setting, or, what sort of activities can students look forward to?
Yeah, it's funny because I went last year to the symposium, and with one thing and another, the program and looking at how the program's been put together from previous occasions, it's been very much, as you say, sort of classroom-based stuff. One thing we're going to try this year is to try and get students to present information to each other. And also, a big part of that is when they're presenting is sort of reflecting on what they're doing and having conversations about what they're doing and why they're doing it. There'll be some, as I said, topics that will be covered by speakers, and some of those will be sort of like the students will be challenged to consider some of those ideas and some of the practical work that we engage in, and there'll be some sort of practical or practically based sort of model presentations done by some of the Ohio coaches or some of the guests that we're bringing in.
Very good. Now, I know this changes from year to year because there's always a little bit of fluctuation and fine-tuning, but, could you just go over, a high-level, I guess, agenda for the symposium, what time students need to be on campus and how it runs through and what they could be experiencing on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so arrival is on the Wednesday, June 27th, and the arrival check-in is between 1 till 5. Then that evening we're having a welcome dinner, which the students will attend, and that'll be, me and the co-ed faculty sort of introducing themselves to the students, and, students will be at tables, and, faculty will be sat at those tables as well and give the students a chance to engage with the faculty. One of the guest speakers, which is a gentleman that's coming from New Zealand, but he's Australian by heritage, Professor Richard Light, will do an introductory kind of keynote talk about some of the work he's been doing in kind of athlete-centered and game-based coaching methodologies, which we feel is, something that is a bit of a thread that goes through our program, but it's obviously nice to give the students exposure to some more kind of experts in the field beyond those based here at Ohio. So that will be happening on sort of day 1. On day 2, obviously there'll be the sort of the meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, which are all part of the, the service package that the students pay for, and the welcome dinners in there and things like that. And then there's a campus tour scavenger hunt to give students the opportunity to see what the campus has got to offer and the various different facilities that we have. Then there's a keynote by a gentleman called Nick Hill, who's from England, who works with some of the high-level English rugby coaches, and he will be talking about building a player person-centered culture within various different programs that he's worked in. He's very well connected on social media with people like Vern Gambetta, who's a very high-level speaker here in the United States, for example. So Nick's kind of good friends with him, and he sometimes attends Vern's conference, the GAIN conference. So he's very well educated in the sense of, practice, bringing research information to practice. Then there's lunch, and then we have various modelling sessions in the afternoon where students will need to bring their sneakers and get out on the field and, help the presenters who will be doing stuff to do with, examples of positive pedagogy in action in both individual and team sports. And also we're going to do some stuff on skill acquisition related to player development. In the evening of this full day on Thursday, we're going to have some breakout sessions where the students will get to go and meet with various Ohio Bobcat coaches who will be coming in to, talk to them. Some of those are kind of nailed on, and some are still in the works. But Sean Hogan and Ali, who run the ice and field hockey, will be there. I'm not sure if Saul Phillips, the basketball, is going to make it, but we've got Rodney Costa de Santos, the volleyball coach, who's going to be talking to the athletes. And then we're going to also give the students the opportunity to talk to some of our other students who work here on campus, either as GAs or student athletes, and just get them to be able to share experiences. So, the students will work around those various different rooms. And then, so that's Thursday. What I'll probably say at this point is each day we're going to have various assignments the students have to do. And so, for example, they'll write a reflective piece about the keynote. So the keynote will probably last about 30 minutes, but then we'll put students in breakout groups, and then they'll have chance for a little bit of a discussion and things like that. And we'll use a thing called Mentimeter as well to get students to submit questions to the presenters about what's going on, and some of those we'll deal with there and then, but others will, students can, go and talk to the presenters at lunch and dinner, about questions that don't get dealt with. So like I say, like on Thursday, for example, I think students have to do work for like about 20 points, and so the idea is that, by being on campus and engaging what's going on, they're going to kind of reflect on that experience and then submit various assignments that are related to the work that's going on each of the days. So that's Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday we've got some player-athlete development and conditioning stuff going on with Nick, who presented the previous day. And then a big part of Friday is getting the students to take some of the information from Wednesday and Thursday and then apply it in some what we call micro-coaching sessions where they're going to kind of coach each other. Again, we're just ironing out some of the details there because obviously we've got, there'll be various Ohio faculty that will help facilitate those micro-coaching sessions, and students will have to film each other coaching, watch that video back, give each other some feedback, that kind of thing. But we're working through some of the details on, what equipment we're going to provide to them and things like that, because I'm not sure we'll be able to have, 12 footballs, 12 basketballs, 12 softballs, and softball bats, baseball bats and all that kind of thing at every station. So we're just working through the details on how best we're going to organise that, but that's kind of the theory. After lunch, one of our home-based faculty, Dr. Allenson, will talk about skill acquisition and coaching, and then we'll do some more micro-coaching. The students will have some free time, and then Professor Richard Light will talk to them before we have a sort of a barbecue dinner, which will be, like a sort of outside patio-based sort of, finger food, or, like you would have in your backyard on a summer day. And the idea of that dinner is just to, again, get students to liaise with faculty, ask questions, pick each other's brains, so it's in a more socially, positive situation for the students. And then on Saturday, we have a couple of the strength coaches based here at Ohio, Dak and Zach, who are going to work with the students and do a tour of the facilities, but also then do a couple of, modelling and practical sessions on some of the latest things that they're doing with their athletes here at Ohio. So that'll take up the morning, basically, where the students will be with those two, the strength and conditioning professionals. And then we will break out in the afternoon where I'm going to talk to the students a little bit about, issues to do with coach development. I'm calling it being a connected coach, but it'll be a bit of a hodgepodge of different things that, maybe coaches can do to keep themselves learning beyond their time here at Ohio. There's a set of more micro-coaching, which we're going to finish those off. And then we're going to have dinner and potentially go to the Copperheads baseball game. And they're, I can't remember, but they're sort of the minor league baseball team here in town in Athens, and they play at the facility here on campus. And then Sunday we're going to, we're not expecting, and we won't honour this, where people have to sort of take off on Saturday night and say that, I've got to go. Sunday is a very important session where we're going to do some student presentations as part of, again, a networking breakfast where students will come and there'll be sort of food available, but they'll be tasked with doing some reflective work about the seminar before we offer some closing remarks, and then they check out of their accommodations at lunchtime and head out. So, excuse me. Yeah, so that's as you could probably gather from me speaking, it's going to be pretty busy time and pretty active on campus.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. I know from talking to students who have gone in previous years, they've always said it's been a lot of fun. They're exhausted by the end of it, but they wish they could have an extra day. And it sounds like you've taken it up even to a higher level. So I think our students that are attending this, they're going to have a great time with it. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, very informative, and the networking opportunities are going to be priceless for them. Not only is they're going through the program now, but throughout the rest of their career. It sounds like you're really working to help set them up with a strong foundation for their future.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a big part of the program is that we want students to engage with each other, but not just sort of in the, like the 4 till 6 free time on Thursday, but, at the dinners, at the, which we have each evening, at the breakfasts, but not only that, but we want students to be reflecting there and then at the different sessions. So whilst there will be presenters here, presenters will, try and keep sessions, going and facilitate that dialogue within those sessions, because that's a big part of what we're trying to be about here in the Coach Ed program, that we know people get better at being better by, working with others, and that's got to be part of the formal agenda, which is, where we recognize that all the students are coming with various skill sets, and we want, like the micro-coaching, for them to be given the opportunity, within some sort of boundaries in terms of, as I said, problems with it, getting equipment everywhere, at 8 different locations, for example, is going to be challenging. But the idea is that if someone's learned something out in the field that they think's worth sharing with others here in the program, we want to give them the opportunity to do that, and because we see ourselves as faculty about trying to create that kind of learning environment, and that learning environment goes beyond ourselves, you know what I mean? And we also see that it's sometimes restrictive in the online environment to, they can't get others on the field and show them something. Do you see what I mean? And they can do YouTube videos and sort of share it with each other, but it's just not the same. So this is a real good opportunity for, the practitioners that we have in our program to be sharing ideas with each other. Oh, this is what I do here, and this is how I set this up here. So I think that was a big take-home from me attending last year, about how, that would potentially be a big win for the students too, because I had a few students to pull me to one side and say, oh, I have this idea about this, or I'm doing this, like someone was using like video feedback tools, for example, in their diving program. And, what they were doing sounded really, really, cutting edge. And I was like, well, we might not be able to have all the bells and whistles there, but we might be able to give at least this student the opportunity to share what they're doing with others and give people, a small experience of it. And so, or an abridged experience of it. But if we give students the floor, then they can share those ideas. Do you see what I mean? Whereas sometimes if they're sitting in presentations after presentation, they're not sometimes afforded the opportunity to get into sharing what they're doing, especially with a larger group of individuals.
Absolutely. Well, we're getting close to the end of our time here today, but are there any closing statements on your part that you'd like to share with students?
Well, I mean, I guess for me is, we are, as you said, trying to take it to a little bit of a higher level, but I'm sure we'll fall flat on our face in, in 1 or 2 areas. So, we are piloting 1 or 2 things, and we do appreciate, the student feedback about the process. So hopefully everyone will come, like you say, be, engage in what we're doing, and, be kind of up for the challenge, if you know what I mean. I guess our last kind of comment is, we do have a little bit of pre-work before the seminar where the students are challenged with doing a little bit of reading and writing and getting together as a small group. We'll obviously confirm the details of that over some announcements using our Blackboard server, and they will have to submit a little bit of work before they come to the seminar to show that they've been engaging in some of that reading material. And then, like I say, the only sort of thing that's linked to that is, again, students need to be aware that, the sort of the grading policies and the late work policy, and if they need special accommodations, then obviously they need to get those in before the course, starts, so that they have that dialogue with accessibility services. So those are just some sort of things to sort of be aware of, but I don't mean to finish on like a kind of negative note, but there are some things that students will need to pay attention to. But I think the huge positive is that we've got an international group of faculty and the Bobcat coaches, and then some of our own faculty all engaged in this seminar, and then we want to also talk to the students and see what they've got to offer to each other. And I think that building on all those facets of the seminar, it's going to be a really good time for the students.
Thank you, Dr. Harvey. To those in our audience listening, just a quick recap. This is a long weekend event that's mandatory with this program. It must be attended. It typically takes place your second summer that you're in the program, typically during the last week of June, ranging from Wednesday evening running till about noon on Sunday. Of course, the dates, are subject to variation from year to year based on the calendar, but that's what we're looking at. And if you have any other more detailed questions that weren't answered by this webinar, please feel free to reach out to your enrollment advisor. We're here to assist you the whole way through the process. But once again, Dr. Harvey, I want to thank you for your time this morning, and like to thank everybody for tuning in.